Donna, this is Robert Barton.
Telephone calls by Hallsville, Texas Constable Robert Barton and a lawsuit for unlawful search and seizure are proving costly to taxpayers. In 3 months, Harrison County paid nearly $1,000 in phone bills for Barton's one-man office. Barton was projected to go over his annual telephone budget, so county commissioners had to give Barton another $1,100 to keep the phones connected.
You ever make personal phone calls on county phones?
No, sir.
Never?
Never.
Constables are elected and have the same law enforcement powers as police officers. Barton says the telephone is a vital link to his job. But we used a computer to analyze his telephone bills and found 37 calls from his county cell phone to a Longview insurance agency where his wife works.
The last car that I ever covered stolen, it was through there, and I was checking the insurance policies on that.
37 times?
It could be different traffic stops and that kind of thing.
37 times?
Could be.
We also found 33 calls to Barton's home and 26 calls to a friend's home. After we asked him about 13 calls to his father's home, Barton then said not all his calls were county business.
So were those personal calls?
Probably so, yes, sir.
Barton says he can't explain a 22-minute call from his office to Horseshoe Casino in Bossier City, or one to a Tyler men's clothing store, or 11 calls to credit unions. Barton reimbursed the county $200 late last year after his phone bills raised red flags with the county auditor. Harrison County has no written policy on making personal calls, but County Judge Rodney Gilstrap says it's understood that's not supposed to be done.
Private or personal phone calls are not something the county pays for and not something that should be made from a county phone if at all possible.
Telephone calls haven't been the only problem for Constable Barton. His search of a mobile home near Hallsville led to a federal lawsuit for unlawful search and seizure. Harrison County and its insurance company settled the suit for $15,000.
Barton searched a mobile home near Hallsville after the man who lived there got behind on his rent. The man was out of town at the time and sued, saying Barton illegally took guns out of the home. Barton admits he did not have a warrant, but says he thought the search was an emergency. County officials familiar with the case say he did not follow proper procedures for an eviction. In Hallsville, Texas, John Gordon, KTBS 3 News. What are state employees doing with your computers, your time, and your money? Some are sending personal messages over the internet during office hours, looking for swinging romantic partners, trying to fix technical problems so games will run on their computers at work, or selling pickups and Furby dolls.
We searched the internet for messages posted to news groups, which are like electronic bulletin boards. We were looking for messages from state offices in Louisiana, Texas, and Arkansas. These are some of the dozens of messages we found that don't seem to have anything to do with state business.
From the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, someone looking for hot encounters with a married woman or couples. The message ends with, "Let your imagination run wild." An employee at the Louisiana Department of Natural Resources was having trouble getting the game Quake to load on his computer at work. We traced more than a dozen internet messages talking about sex, gardening, car problems, and perfume to DEQ's headquarters in Baton Rouge and the email address of Jerome Friedman. Friedman is an environmental coordinator. He makes $43,000 a year, almost $21 an hour, but he says he knows nothing about the messages.
You have no idea where this came from?
No, I don't.
You didn't post these?
No, I didn't.
Friedman says the messages give a correct physical description of him. One message also asks for help with the mechanical problem with the pickup he drives. Another message talks about an apple tree at his house. Friedman does have access to the internet in his office, but he says he did not send the messages.
So you think somebody's been posting these things under your name and you don't know anything about it?
I suppose that's a real possibility.
Is it a possibility or is it what happened?
I didn't post them.
Who did?
I have no idea.
A message from another DEQ office talks about cross-dressing and says one of the Teletubby characters wears a frilly little ballet skirt and really likes it. It's not just a problem in Louisiana. We also found a Texas Department of Health worker looking for advice on setting up a home theater system, a Texas State Controller's worker selling Furby dolls, and an employee at the Arkansas Department of Pollution Control talks about rock climbing.
I'm sure the taxpayers would be incensed to know that this is going on. And it's my responsibility to follow up on these things.
Dan Kyle is Louisiana's legislative auditor, a watchdog of tax dollars. He says it's the first time he's seen this kind of computer abuse. Kyle is concerned about personal use of state computers on state time.
Which would be misappropriation of state property. This could even result in charges of malfeasance in office.
We also showed the messages to State Representative Cedric Glover of Shreveport.
I guess that's what they mean by cybersecurity.
Glover wants to encourage state employees to use computer technology, but he says personal use should not be tolerated.
Anything that's done during the course of the business day that does not go towards doing the state's business, whether that's on a computer, on your desktop, in the bathroom, around the corner, or anywhere, is simply not acceptable and inappropriate.
So the next time you have a problem finding a state employee, they may be busy sending messages about Nigerian politics or discussing blues festivals and rock bands over the internet for the whole world to see. John Gordon, KTBS 3 News.